Welcome to Business and Bodybuilding episode 15. Got a special guest with us today, my boy Bear. Christmas episode, got my Christmas socks on. Got a few bits to do today, it's Christmas Eve, but got to train, do my meals, do my steps, still get everything in, talk you through a few bits that I've got planned for Christmas. But yeah, enjoy the episode, like, subscribe, all the good stuff, and we'll crack on from there. Give me 4. Give me 4. Give me 4. Give me 4. Then lay down. Yeah, good boy. There you go. So at Ashford, we're always trying to make improvements as well as Herne. So we built this new room here. It's not finished just yet, but it's going to be a hamstring and glute room. We're going to have hamstrings on this side and then glutes on this side. Take those old pictures down I've got there. Mirrors are now up. Just need to get this side painted. And then when the prime stuff arrives here, which it should have arrived actually 2 days ago, but delivery is shit with them, it will all go up here. So there'll be a couple more hamstring curls. You've got the Nautilus glute drive here, which is a new bit of kit for Ashford. So yeah, this room now is just being finished off, and this will be a hamstring and glute room, and it will be in addition to downstairs as well. So we have our own separate leg room downstairs in Ashford, and now we have our own separate hamstring and glute room. And then that's obviously still going to be the leg room downstairs as well. So yeah, always trying to improve here at Ashford as well. So every morning at the minute I try and get around about 6,000 to 8,000 steps done fasted. And then after Christmas, which will be in a couple of days, I've got to do the cross trainer as well. 25 minutes on a cross trainer, so that's 25 minutes on a cross trainer, 6,000 or 7,000 steps fasted. It takes me roughly an hour. Some of them I incorporate by walking Bear as well, but a lot of them are done on the treadmill because it's just faster, easier, and I can do some work as well at the same time. So the great thing about getting stuff done early is it's only, it's not even 8 o'clock and I've already done 7,500 steps. Most of my days actually sat down, like working at the computer. Like very rarely do I go out and get any more steps now through the day, but I have to hit 15,000. So by 8 AM, I've already done half of them. Usually I've done probably 8,000 plus. But today I've got about 7,500 done already. I'll get another couple of thousand done when I train, and then I've only then got to walk Bear maybe once more to hit my step count. So the great thing about being up early is that I can get stuff done early, knock out the majority of my steps, and then I'm not chasing myself through the day. But now I'm going to show you how to make the perfect cream of rice, and there'll be a separate tutorial on this as well. So this is how you make the perfect cream of rice, so watch your way. So how to make the perfect cream of rice, okay? So the kettle is just boiled, so I let it sit for a bit because you don't want to have proper boiling water in there. My favourite combination at the minute is salted caramel whey and caramel biscuit cream of rice. These two are fucking banging. Another good combination is cinnamon cream of rice and salted caramel whey. Another good combination is chocolate orange whey, chocolate orange cream of rice. When we had the chocolate and salted caramel cream of rice and the chocolate whey is another great combination. Like there is so many wicked combinations that you can have. If you've got a sweet tooth, the cherry bakewell is unbelievable for you. The most underrated flavour is the apple pie. But anyway, I'm going to show you how to make the perfect cream of rice. Okay, so kettle is just boiled. So what I do for every, so I have 350 mils of water for 80 grams of cream of rice. So for example, if you're only using 40 grams of cream of rice, then you can use 1.7 ml of water. Quick maths, you can work that out yourself. So as I said, the kettle is very warm, but it's not completely boiling. As I said, I weigh out the water for a consistency standpoint rather than to know how much water I'm drinking. I want the cream of rice to be consistent every time. Then I do 80 grams of cream of rice. Weigh that out. $70, $33, $80, boom. I have a whisk, and I whisk it up. If you use a whisk, it just takes half the time as a spoon, probably less than that, and it's perfect. No lumps, no nothing in that at all. Absolutely spot on. Then I add my whey, which at the moment is 50 whey, 50. 46, 49, 50. And again, I just mix that in. And again, as you can see with the whisk, no lumps or anything from the whey whatsoever. So we actually, you hear a lot of people say, oh, the complete strength cream of rice mixes better than any other cream of rice, and it's because we use a special type of rice when we use our cream of rice, but I can't tell you what it is because otherwise companies will copy it and it will be giving our secret away. But yeah, we use a special blend and mix when we use our cream of rice. It takes a long time to get right, but we've got it right now. Then we just use a cheap baking powder. This is Sainsbury's. Oh, this is actually probably better than the other ones. It just makes it more cake-like. So yeah, so use this baking powder. I literally put a gram of baking powder on this, maybe a bit more sometimes. Maybe sometimes it comes out 2 grams. But look at the consistency of this. Okay, this is really nice consistency. This will be a super cake cream of rice. So again, as well, just add a gram, maybe a gram and a half. Mix that in, there we go. And again, that's probably just how much I'll add in terms of baking powder. So you can see, just cover the top layer, and again, mix that in. And again, as you can see, consistency is perfect. Spot on there. I then put that in the microwave. Obviously I'm going to show you, but I'm just going to put it in the microwave. But I put it in for 1.5 minutes, and then I mix again, and I put it in for another minute. And that becomes absolutely perfect in terms of the texture. But obviously if you're using smaller amounts, then trial and error the times yourself. But in terms of, as I said, what I do is I'll put it in for 1.5 minutes, and then I'll mix it again, and then I'll put it in for another minute. It comes out like a sponge cake, like it's absolutely spot on. I'll show you that now. So after 1.5 minutes, it's fucking hot. But it looks like this now after 1.5 minutes. You see the sides have started to cook a little bit, but the middle is still really wet. So what I'll do is I'll mix that in. So again, if I look at the middle, it's hard to hold because it's fucking boiling. But I'm dedicated and I'll do it for you. But you see the middle is still wet, but the sides are quite hard. So just want to mix that in now, so mix it all together. And use a glass bowl if you can. Like, it just cooks better in a glass bowl. It just cooks better than a plastic. So just mix that in, put all the sides there, mix it all up. And this one actually is probably only going to take about 45 seconds to be ready. So I'm going to pull it out after 45 seconds and see what it looks like. And if it's done, then good. If not, then I'll give it another 15-second blast. Yeah, so that's pretty much ready now after 45 seconds. It looks like a bit of a mess. But once I mix that in, get that all moving. You can see it sort of sticks in the whisk. That's when I know the consistency is really good, because I know it's quite thick then when it's stuck in the whisk, and it's very, very cake-like now, like super, super cake-like. It's very spongy in terms of what I'm looking for. So again, if you look at here, it's very spongy in terms of what I want. There's a bit on the floor there, better finish that, I'm sure. What I do now, my cream of rice, just mix that all together, and then my whisk just broke, look at that. It's so spongy. So mix that all together. Perfect. And then with mine, I'm on 150 grams of berries, so I actually just buy this packet of berries for convenience because it's 150 grams. Add that in. And I also get 20 grams of nut butter. And if you haven't tried this nut butter, it's dark chocolate and almond butter. You're missing out. You don't know what you're missing out on. Like Pippa Nut, if you want to sponsor me, I'm available. I'm ready for chats. LRF 10 will be a discount code. I get 20 grams of that. Little tip when you're doing it, weigh the spoon first, because then you ain't got to push it off the spoon. So put it in, reset the scales, weigh the spoon. I know what roughly 20 grams looks like these days, and it's not the whole fucking tub, unfortunately. 22, so take a little bit away. 20, bang, done. And that is how you make the perfect cream of rice. And the final part is I like to have my cream of rice cold. So I put my cream of rice in the fridge, so put it in there, with a little lid on it, it goes in the bottom shelf. Why does it go on the bottom shelf? Because the bottom shelf is the coldest, because hot air rises. Should have learnt that in science, GCSE. And then sit there for an hour, hour and a half, just while I do some work, and I'll have it as my pre-workout meal. So, although it's Christmas Eve, still got work to do. It's actually just a normal working day for me. Got about 2 or 3 check-ins. I don't actually do check-ins Christmas Eve, Christmas Day and Boxing Day. Those are the 3 days that I don't do check-ins. So I actually just got a bit of like ad hoc work to do for complete strength. I still have the guys and girls who are on prep actually check in. So I've got about 5 check-ins to knock out now. A little bit of email work to do. And that's it really. So this will take me about 20-25 minutes. And then I'll have my first meal, then I'll go and train. Today I'm actually training after 1 meal. Normally I train after 2. But I've just got a busy day this afternoon. I need to go and get my hair cut, give my barber a little drink, just because obviously it makes me look fresh always. But yeah, I'll catch up with you soon, but let me knock out this work. So this is the supplement cupboard. My goat pump, my EAA, and my Pre-V2. Pre-V2. Got loads of other stuff in here. Health Aid, Calm, Joint. These are actually my 3 favourite supplements actually. Can't hold them all at once, but yeah, these are my 3 favourite supplements. Like I drink protein powder just because I like the taste of it, but I would just eat food. I have pre-workout because it helps with my workouts, but again, it's not like a game changer. But those 3 supplements, the Health Aid, the Joint and the Calm, like those are the game changers. Like in terms of what they do, in terms of how they help. Like yeah, those are by far my top 3 supplements in terms of any supplements ever, to be honest. Like not just complete strength, but any supplements ever. They are game changers. I never have issues with my joints. I used to have a bad shoulder and bad knees and that, but yeah, not saying that it's rectified it completely, but it's definitely helped. Calm is just a great product for cortisol management, so which is stress management if you don't know. And Health Aid is the best on-cycle support you'll ever find. Like it's just got fucking everything in it, literally everything. I'll read the panel for you, just so you know. It's got 1500 milligrams of NAC, 600 milligrams of citrus bergamot, 600 milligrams of milk thistle, 600 milligrams of pico 2, 400 milligrams of ALA, 400 milligrams of curcumin, 250 milligrams of TUDCA, 100 milligrams of K2, 100 milligrams of CoQ10, 80 milligrams of glutathione, 25 milligrams of bioperin, and 1500 UGs of D3. Like you won't find a better product than that, regardless of where or how hard you search. That is the best health support on the market. Let me just double check what I've done. I've only done EAA so far, so scoop and a half a go. If it comes out, oh come on, yeah. Scoop and a half a go, and 1 scoop of Pre-V2, probably not got much left. Pre-V2 pina colada. Boom, there we go. Perfect, absolutely perfect. Super combo that. Got the podcast on in the background there. Farouk Abiyad podcast. So yeah, get that ready, go train now. Got pool today, gonna use a lot of the new Prime stuff. So that'll be exciting. I've used it all before. This will be the 2nd rotation now on this pull day. Got extreme row, got horizontal row, got gym shot pull down, Nautilus style pull down. So yeah, all the quality movements actually in there today. So yeah, it'll be a good session and try and progress across the board now again. So yeah, trying to progress now. The only thing I'm not trying to progress overly is hacks. I had a really good set of hacks actually. I'll put it here in the video so you can see it on the side. I had a really good set of hacks. 5.5 plates comfortably for 5. I probably could have pushed a bit more, but because it's a new movement, like I still have something which you'll call novelty stimulus, just mean it's a new movement, so I'm going to grow off it anyway. So I don't need to push it to failure, because if I pushed it to failure now, my growth would probably be the same whether it was a novel stimulus or I'm pushing to failure. But now it's just a growth through novel stimulus, and then once I stall on that, then I can grow through pushing harder. So you have to try and phase each one of these bits in. It's just being intelligent in your programming that does that. But anyway, I'll show you the back session today. Be a good session, as I said, got lots of good movements in there, and then we'll crack on from there. So whenever I'm driving, I actually try and listen to a podcast, and the drive to Herne Bay is about 45 minutes, sometimes an hour if there's traffic. So always stick on a decent podcast. Today here I've got a Recalibration of Success by Andy Fusella. This is actually from 2016, but it's still really good, really relevant. This one I've listened to before. It talks about how we should rethink success and what success is and how we should look at success. But so yeah, whenever you're driving or whenever you get some minutes, just don't listen to music. Like, listen to something which is going to be educational. And yeah, you're driving, so you're not going to take it all in, but you'll take a good percentage of it in. So whenever you get some minutes, always do some personal development. And you know, that's the reason why I've clocked up hours and hours and hours of personal development, is because whenever I drive, I listen to podcasts. Whenever I'm doing cardio, I'll listen to an audiobook. Like, I don't listen to music because it holds no benefit. So yeah, I'm always trying to kill two birds with one stone. I'm driving, I'm listening to a podcast, or I'm driving, or I'm making some business calls, or I listen to an audiobook. Do that honestly, and you'll clock up hours and hours and hours of personal development before you even know it. And yeah, you'll become better at everything. So yeah, do that and give it a go. Hammer strength, underhand, pull down. I really like this movement actually, massively underrated movement. It almost takes that from fully extended to fully contracted here. It's a really nice movement. The only disadvantage is it's got like a flexi handle. You're always stuck in like an underhand position. As long as you move your position of your body, it actually works out really well. Then I've got a horizontal prime row, and I've got extreme prime row. Then I've got a gym shot pull down, and then I think I've got a T-bar row to finish. So yeah, good workout today actually. So a couple of cues when I'm doing this movement here. The movement almost wants to pull you in. Try and focus on pulling your elbow down rather than pulling your elbow in. So if you come here, you're in this position here, think about getting that elbow down and then in rather than straight back in. One of the things I do as well, if you watch me do the movement, I actually shift my body over to one side. It allows me just to pull in a little bit further. So if, for example, I'm a little bit straight on, I have to almost hit my body here, and I can't get any further than that. If I twist my body slightly, then I can pull in and get a little bit further. You can see the difference in the contraction now already. I'm straight on, I'm hitting myself here, I move my body slightly across, and get a little bit further back. Obviously I'm exaggerating that, but you can see the difference. So the two cues here, pull your elbow down, shift your body across, get that elbow right in. I like to do this movement single arm as well, because when I do it single arm, I can shift my body to one side and then shift my body to the other side. Whereas if I'm here, I'm only really getting to here. Again, when I do it single arm, I shift across and I get that extra bit of movement there, which is really going to help. So this is a lovely pull down to use, a hammer strength pull down, probably underrated actually in terms of a bit of kit. As I said, the only disadvantage is not got a flexi handle, so it doesn't help with any sort of wrist stability. So here you're just set in one position, but other than that, I think it's a great movement to use. Moving on now to the prime horizontal row. This is a row which has got different movement arms, so meaning that this is now heavy at the length range, which makes sense on this movement. I've got some here in the mid-range. The end range is still heavy, but it's just loaded at the front end. So when I'm fully lengthened on this, it's the heaviest, and as I pull back, it slowly gets lighter, which is a great profile on this movement. So yeah, 2 sets on this now. This is my heaviest working set. See how we go. back bias stuff. Start with the extreme row. Again, like I said, it can be done lat bias or upper back bias. And again, if you watch the way my arm moves on this movement, I'm leaning into the machine and I'm coming almost up and out. But again, I could be leaning into the machine. I'm doing a lat bias row here. But again, because my arm path is up and out, it's going to be upper back bias. So here we're upper back bias. Load is central range. I'm not going to load middle. I'm not going to load bottom or top here. I'm just going to load middle range here. Because I just find the best on this machine. But yeah, moving on to upper back bias movements now. So weird about the plates, like I can't use two different plates. Like you see, these are different plates. I have to use one or the other. So I'll put this one on and I'll put this one back and I'll find another one which looks like that. So back onto lat bias work now. I did one upper back movement. I've got one upper back movement at the end. I'm back onto lat bias stuff now. I've got the gym shot pull down. Best pull down I've ever used. Really is the best pull down I've ever used. Such a good bit of kit. Yeah, so again, think of lat bias as in elbow coming down and in rather than up and out. So back onto a lat bias pull down now, which is, as I said, I love this movement, to be honest. You see on this movement, I actually sit a little bit away from the pad. My knees are sit under the pad. But if I sit too close to the pad, when I'm trying to get that, I find a little bit squeezing, the pad actually hits my elbow. So I sit a little bit further back from the pad, so then the pad is here, and my elbow passes through it nicely. If I sit too close, I hit it. So what I'm trying to do is just get that final bit of movement again. All those little bits count, like all those couple of inches count. Ask your girlfriend, she'll tell you. So as I said, moving up onto another upper back movement now. Got T-bar row, Lantis this one. People ask, oh, what handle should I use? It's important to understand what part of the back you're trying to target. So that's why it's important to understand when you're doing upper back row and when you're doing lat row, because these handles will help you distinguish what handle you should use, or understanding what row you want to do and what part of the muscle you want to hit will help you then distinguish what handle you want to use. Because the narrow handle is actually really nice for doing a lat row, whereas the wider handle is actually a little bit nicer for doing an upper back row. So obviously I'm targeting upper back, so I'm going to use the most extreme handle here, which is the outer handle, so I can get like almost wrap my shoulder blades around my back here. So I'm almost trying to do this movement here and wrap my shoulder blades around my back here, get right into that movement there. And then that will really, really target upper back. So if you're targeting upper back, imagine you've got your shoulder blades and you're almost trying to squeeze them together up here. That's going to really help recruit a lot of upper back. So do a rope curl now, got the longer rope, just to stop any internal rotation through those shoulder joints, elbow joints and wrist joints. If you're curling like this, there's going to be a lot of internal rotation, which is eventually going to cause injury. Also, remember, if you're trying to do biceps, the only thing that should move is your lower arm. The bicep doesn't have a function of bending your knees. So unfortunately, to break it to you, if you're doing curls like this, you're not using your biceps. If you're doing curls like this, you're not using your bicep. The only function of the bicep, or one of the functions, biceps got two functions, and one of the main functions is always just to move that lower arm, like this. So if you're doing bicep curls and your hips are moving and your knees are moving, I'm sorry to break it to your girlfriend, but you ain't using your biceps. Final movement is preacher curl. Hammer strength preacher curl, single arm. Again, it's great because the only thing that's moving is your lower arm. I'm not swinging into the movement like this. Allows me to drive against the pad here, so I can drive against the pad with the back of my arm and my tricep. And really get that arm up and squeeze hard at the top. Again, I like this movement because I can position my body in a way where everything's in alignment, I'm not internally rotated, and it's just a really nice movement as well, to be fair. I'm still working with a bit of an elbow injury, but work around it, to be honest. So yesterday I did a Q&A on my story and I got a few questions in, so I'm going to answer them now. So first question was a good one, was it how much does it actually cost to open a gym like LRF in Herne Bay? So I've just put some rough costs down, I've done a few stories on this before, but I'll run you through a few costs. So flooring, I'm sure Jack can add these up here as well. Flooring, 35k, that's the floor, the whole gym, so the wooden floor in reception, the lino floor on the ground floor, the lino floor on the mezz floor as well, to get nice flooring in the changing rooms as well. Total flooring cost for the gym was 35 grand. To build the mezz was 35 grand, so that's already 70. To put the deposit on the hammer strength equipment, the cardio, and all the weight plates in the gym was 50k. And what I did is I've got a lease hire agreement, so I just paid it off every month, like a PCP on a car almost. So I paid it off every single month, but I had to put 50k down to actually get the equipment here. Prime and Atlantis don't do that PCP hire, you have to pay for their stuff up front. Prime was 35 grand, that's including transport and taxes. Atlantis was 30 grand, including transport and taxes. A rent deposit scheme on a commercial building is different to a house. So for example, if you are getting a house, you'll just pay 1 month up front and 1 month rent normally. It might cost you like, if you've got a £1,000 house, it might cost you 1,500 quid. It's different with commercial buildings. They want 3 months up front and 3 months rent. So you give a 3-month deposit and you give 3-month rent. And our rent here alone is 60k a year. So that's 30k, that's without that as well. And then you have to pay service charge and so on and so forth, so they keep the area tidy, they'll paint the lines in the car park, pick up the weeds, all that shit. So that's 40k there as well. And that's for us literally just to get the keys into the building. Building works and remedial works, so building the reception desk, building the changing room, building this office for example, building the physio room next door, that's another 20k. Putting the like the entry part in, that wooden entry part as well, that's another 20k. The building obviously needed painting as well because it was just brickwork. You don't have to necessarily have it painted, but if you're going to open the gym and spend a lot of money, you might as well get it painted as well. So for example, painting these walls behind you white, painting all the gym floor black, painting all the corridors and so on and so forth. That was another 8k because it's a lot of paint and a lot of labour. The floor space is fucking massive. So imagine the wall space, because obviously you've got floor space and you've got walls going up as well. So painting alone was 8 grand. You have to pay rents as soon as you start occupying the building. They don't give you a recession on rates. Our rates here alone are 1.5k a month. We are lucky in the fact that we are a gym, so there was a bit of a gym recession in rates, but we still had to pay rates. So you're paying 1.5k a month as soon as we came in. Promo work, obviously you need to make people aware that the gym is opening. That cost me about 1.5k. And supplements before we open, to get not just supplements but water, blenders, microwave and stuff like that. That cost me £1,000 as well to get all that in. So we've got protein for people, pre-workouts for people, EAAs for people, water for people, fridges and so on and so forth. So just totaling that up, okay, and again, I don't own all the equipment just yet. I've still got probably 70, 80k on the PCP. So I didn't buy all the equipment outright. I bought the Prime Atlantis outright, but the hammer, the plates and the cardio, they're not bought outright. And that is a total, okay, of £157,000. Sorry, wrong, £257,000. So you might have 157 and thought, fucking hell, that's a lot. Well, it's actually £257,000. So the price of probably the house you live in. That's how much it costs just to open this gym. The ongoing costs as well that people don't realise is my rent, including the VAT, is around about 6k a month. The rate, including the VAT, is around about 3k a month. Staff is 4k. Bills are around about 2k, and the equipment lease is around about 4k as well. So my ongoing cost to keep this gym open is 19k. So that's 20 grand a month just to keep this gym going. The gym doesn't earn anywhere near that at the moment, so I'm taking money out of my own pocket and then funding the gym. That's what I always say to people. If, for example, you're solely worried about making profit and making money, don't open a gym, because it eats into a lot of your money for a long period of time, and then of course it starts making profit. But for the time being, you're going to have a lot of financial backing, because for at least the first 6 months, you're going to be supplementing that revenue all the time, because your gym's not going to make that much money in the first 6 months. For example, here we've been open 2 months, we've almost got 200 direct debit members, so let's work that out in terms of financial. 200 direct debit members at £40 each is going to bring us in 8 grand a month, but I need to make 19 for us to cover our overheads. So you can see I'm already supplementing 11 grand a month back into the gym to help it keep turning over. And that will probably happen for at least the first year. So for the first year, the gym will probably make a loss of close to £500,000. And you might say, well, why £500,000? Well, because I need to put all the costs out to start with. For example, that 257k, I don't get any of that back. I've put that money out there, so that's lost already. And yes, of course, I've got assets, but that's lost already. And the gym is losing, again, probably around about 10 grand a month to start with. 10 grand times 12 is 120k. So now, as you can see, it's closer to 400k, but if I round up and say £500,000, just in case your gym doesn't do as well in that first year. So you're gonna have to budget around about £500,000 if you wanna open a gym like this. And open a big gym, because that's what it's going to cost you really, is about £500,000. So people who look at this and say, oh man, like, you're so lucky to have a gym like that. Like, yeah, like part of me is lucky to be able to work my fucking arse off, financially be in a stable position to do that, have people around me who are willing to work for lower cost. Like for example, Simon does close to 80 hours a week, and I give him 275 quid, because that's all we can afford, is £275 a week at the minute. So he does all those hours, and he's definitely being paid less than minimum wage, like significantly less than minimum wage. But he knows obviously the long-term goal of the gym. He'll soon, maybe in late 2022, probably be only working 20 hours a week, and I'll be paying him the same. So he'll be earning significantly more than what he is now, plus his PT, and plus he can see the vision of the business as well. So yeah, those are the costs of opening a gym, those are the ongoing costs of running a gym, and those are the budgets that you have to have if you really want to open a big gym like LRF or like Ultraflex or like Ripped. You have to have those types of budgets, like you have to, otherwise it will not succeed. And I would never recommend opening a smaller type of gym, because otherwise LRF, Ultraflex, Ripped, Absolute will probably come and open in your area and then just take all your members. Not because that's what they're trying to do, that's just business. And if somebody's offering a better product, of course, clients and customers will go over to that better product. So yeah, that's in essence how much it takes for you to open a gym. Those, as I said, really are just the fundamental sort of, I'm just going back here to my costings, those are really just the fundamentals. And it doesn't equate for things breaking, buying new machines. What happens if a staff member's off sick and you've got to get somebody else in for a temp? What happens if there's an electrical issue, a plumbing issue, and so on and so forth? Like, these are all, to be honest, I've not even put electrics here into this initial cost. So this initial cost will probably go up by another 3k, so that will make it 260, because I had to put electrics into the gym as well. Like, have to put electrics behind reception. These plug sockets here that are either side of me, they had to be put in as well. We had to have security put in as well. Again, like, I'm adding to these costs here now. We had to have security systems put in, alarm systems, fire extinguishers. That again is another 4 or 5 grand as well. So that now is looking at more like 265k to open the gym, just to get it open. So that's your initial outlay before you have one member through the door, one protein shake sold. You have to budget 260 at least. As I said, for the first year, you probably want to be budgeting more like £500,000. So that's the cost of running something like LRF and opening up something like LRF. So another question from the Q&A. Most common traits in the best athletes you've worked with? Easy one. Consistency, they're always super consistent, year round. They're not taking days and weeks off, they're not taking periods of time off. They're literally super consistent year round. The reason that they're super consistent, and another trait, is that they have a very, very clear goal in their mind. I want to achieve this, and they do absolutely everything to achieve that, and 9 times out of 10, they achieve it. Consistency, a very, very clear goal. They're incredibly passionate about not just the sport, but they're passionate about doing well and winning. They want to fucking win. Like, they don't believe in this, oh, you know, let's just go and take part. They're like, fucking absolutely not. Let's fucking go and win, and let's smash everybody in the process. That's their mentality, and that's their mindset. And some people might think, that's a bit extreme, but they want to do extreme things. They want to go to the Olympia. They want to win pro shows. That's an extreme thing. The reason it's extreme because not many people actually fucking do it. So the reason that they're like, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna smash everyone, I'm gonna fucking work hard, I'm gonna dominate, is because they want to do something extreme. So they're consistent, they have a very, very clear goal, passionate vision, and they are fucking ruthless in achieving their goal, and they do everything to achieve their goal. So those would be the 3 traits that I would give for the best athletes that I've worked with. I'm gonna put the next 2 questions together. So the first question here is, why has Primo become so popular in bodybuilding recently? What is your opinion on bikini girls using Primo, and if so, at what dosage? So those are the 2 questions. I'm gonna stick those together. The reason that Primo has become so popular in bodybuilding recently is just because it's come to the forefront a bit more in terms of people are more aware of it. Primo has been around in bodybuilding for years and years and years and years. Like, bodybuilders have used Primo Bolon for absolutely fucking forever. The only thing now is that everything is more public. So what we do as bodybuilders is now more public. So where people just think, oh, we use Test and Deca, more educated people are saying, well, actually, no, bodybuilders have been using Primo for years, and it's great. So gives very, very little low side effects. And run at a pretty high dosage, you don't really get any negative side effects. So that's the reason that Primo is more popular these days. 1, because of education, 2, because of visibility of people who are putting good stuff out there, and 3, because again, people are realizing that actually I can run it at quite a high dosage and not cause any problems. Second part of that question again is, do I think bikini girls should use Primo Bolon? Absolutely not, absolutely not. Like, I've never ever put any girl on Primo Bolon ever, regardless if they're figure, bikini, or whatever. I just don't think it's needed. If you're having to use Primo Bolon to make progress, I'd probably start looking at your training and your diet and making sure that that's on point first. If that is on point, then I'd be making sure that your coach actually knows what they're doing in terms of training and diet. Because again, if you're having to rely on Primo Bolon to grow, I can guarantee you there's something behind that which isn't right. Like, that's maybe like step 25, and maybe we need to be focusing on step 1 and 2, making sure your rest is good, your recovery is good, your training's actually good, your diet's actually on point. So if you're having to rely on a drug like Primo Bolon to put on muscle tissue, then I don't think the basics are right, to be honest. And again, if a coach is encouraging you to use that in a bikini class, which maybe this question suggests, I would really be looking elsewhere. I would absolutely be looking elsewhere for a coach, because that is a drug that not even the top figure girls are using. Trust me, some of the top figure girls, most of the top figure girls, should I say, in this country are not using Primo Bolon. They're just using a small dose of Anavar, and they're just making sure that they're training and diets on point. Why do I know that? Because I've worked with a lot of top figure girls in this country, so I know exactly what they're doing and exactly what they're using. And again, if you're having to use Primo Bolon as a bikini girl, you really need to be questioning that coach and questioning their methods and saying, right, well, these girls that are beating me are not using anywhere near as hard of a drug as Primo Bolon, so why have I got to use Primo Bolon? Surely my genetics can't be that bad that I have to jump on a drug, which is like step 25, like you shouldn't ever be fucking having to jump that far. Like, you know, me personally, it's never something I'd recommend for any bikini or figure athlete. I do think that you can make all your progress using a small amount of Anavar and making sure your diet and training is right. If you're having to rely on that, I would definitely be questioning your coach if that's what they're suggesting. So I'm not even going to recommend the dosage for you, because I don't even think it's advantageous. I don't even think any bikini or figure girl should be going down that route whatsoever. The next question here is, anything you seem to find with young coaches which holds them back? So maybe I'm just answering this question as I'm reading it, as into like maybe what are some of the traits of young coaches that hold them back. 1, they don't understand their avatar properly. They don't understand who they're speaking to properly. They're really struggling to connect with an audience because they're talking to audience A, B, C, D, E, F. They're trying to be a jack of all trades rather than just be fucking good at one thing.
If you're fucking good at one thing, you will excel and naturally go into other areas of the sport. Like for example, everybody knows that my background is bikini prep, men's physique prep, and figure prep. Like, okay, that's not one specific thing, but if I say, right, actually, I'm going to encapsulate a lot of females, and I've got lots of bikini athletes and lots of figure athletes, naturally, those people are going to speak to people and say, you know, Rob's a really good coach, and then I've got a men's physique boy coming on board who's saying, oh, well, actually, you've done really, really well at men's physique in the past, can I jump on board with you? So just be fucking good at one thing, whether that be fat loss, whether that be general pop transformations, whether that be lifestyle coaching, whatever you do, okay, just fucking focus really hard on one thing and get so good at that one thing that you are the best at that one thing. And then you can look at going into different fields. But definitely one of the traits that I found with young coaches is they want to be a jack of all trades and a master of none. And that unfortunately isn't going to bode well for the majority of people. Another thing that I've found is that they don't understand that all of this takes time. So I've been coaching now for 12 years. A lot of the coaches that I work with have been coaching for 5 minutes. And they ask me, why haven't I got 50 clients? Why haven't I got 100 clients? Like, because I've been doing this for 12 years and the people who are very, very good at this and who you see as like the best coaches in the industry have been doing this for a long period of time. And although they may not have been at the forefront of the industry for a long period of time, they have been coaching for a long period of time. So time is another thing that you cannot hold back, is make sure that you understand that this process is going to take time. You need to be fully invested for 5 years in order for you to get to 150K, 200K a year from coaching, 15, 20 grand a month from coaching. You need to be fully invested for 5 years, not 5 months or 5 minutes. People underestimate the amount that you can do in 2 or 3 years and overestimate what you can do in 2 or 3 months. I'll say that again. They underestimate what can be done in 2 or 3 years and overestimate what can be done in 2 or 3 months. And what happens there, because they've overestimated the short time span, they think, this isn't for me. I should have got to 50 clients by now. I should have got to so many clients by now, and they haven't got there, and then they just throw the towel in. But if they would have kept going for 2 or 3 years, they would have created the lifestyle that they wanted, and the environment that they wanted, and the team that they wanted, and the number of clients that they wanted. But they overestimate what can be done in 2 or 3 months, and underestimate what can be done in 2 or 3 years. And that's another big trait that I see that the young coaches have. And the final one I would say is that they haven't mastered their own craft first. So they're talking about body transformations, but they've never done a transformation themselves. They're talking about muscle building, but they're skinny boys or skinny girls. They just haven't mastered their own craft themselves. But before I even got into prep coaching, I made sure that I competed a few times first. I wanted to experience everything that went with comp prep. So when I'm talking about comp prep to someone, I know exactly what that person's going through. If I'm, for example, going to be a master of body composition, I've got to be in decent body composition myself. If I'm going to be a master of transformations, I've got to have gone through the process myself, come out of it, gone in a growing phase, and then done it again. So if you're going to be a body transformation specialist, a prep coach specialist, make sure that you have done it a few times yourself first, because it will make a massive difference to your audience to say, that guy knows what he's talking about, look, he's done it all himself. Because if you haven't got a great deal of results to rely on, you need to rely on 1, your knowledge, and 2, the fact that you've done it. And again, in the early stages, you probably haven't got a great deal of knowledge. But again, that can build up over time, like with your resume of clients. And finally, with that as well, I will add one more note, a bonus point, shall I say. Make sure you're being mentored through the process. I always have mentors, always. I've still got a mentor now. In a few weeks' time, after Christmas, I'm going to go see that mentor again. I always have a mentor, and I always had a mentor, because what I would rather do is I would rather them tell me the mistakes that they made than I don't have to make them. And some of those mistakes might cost you a huge amount financially. It might cost you a huge amount in terms of time. Like, you've wasted 6 months doing something when if you would have just got a mentor, they said, no, don't do that, do it like this. And then you've saved yourself 6 months. So last point on that would be get a mentor, because again, when people become online coaches, they almost think they're invincible. I'm an online coach now, I don't need to learn anymore. Yes, you fucking do. Because again, all the top guys that you're looking at have probably got mentors. If not, they've had mentors all the way through their career. So again, get a mentor, learn from somebody, and it will make a fucking massive difference to you as well if you can do that. So there will be a bonus point there as well. Have a mentor, stick with them, because they can teach you, again, a knowledge base. Right, your clients start, try this, this, and this. right, don't do that because that cost me 6 months of my time, a couple of grand. I found it better doing this, and the people that I've worked with have found it better. As I was saying, a bonus point before Jack's memory card became full because I talk a lot. Get yourself a mentor, make sure that you're learning from that person, because again, that person can save you time, money, effort. Like, they'll tell you, right, as I said, don't do it that way, do it this way, because I did it this way, and that way cost me money, time, and the clients that I've worked with have all done it this way and saved themselves 6 months, thousands of pounds, clients down the drain. It's all helped them. So if you get a mentor that's been there and done it as well, just like, for example, the body transformation or prep, they've been there and done it, they've grown the business themselves, then they'll be able to help you and guide you in the right direction, save you money, save you time. So don't think a mentor is going to cost you money. 9 times out of 10 actually saves you money and saves you time. So bonus point there, get yourself a mentor as well.
So we've got a bit of chocolate coconut today. It's definitely one of the most underrated flavors that we do. Honestly, it just tastes fucking exactly like a Bounty. So yeah, scoop and a half, which is roughly 40 grams. I'll start weighing it out after Christmas. But it's roughly 40 grams, 2 square bars. But if you ain't tried this one, chocolate coconut, honestly, banging, most underrated flavor that we do. So I'll show you what I got my dad for Christmas. My dad is a big Liverpool fan. So I got him the new Liverpool shirt. Fucking #1 dad on the back. And then, I'll fold that up in a second. And then I got a little keyring for him as well. Same thing. You'll love that, Freddie G. And I've got going over my brothers for Christmas. I've got my nephew a couple of bits and my brother a few bits as well. But yeah, Christmas is almost done. I packed that one last present and that's it. So just gonna make my post-workout meal now. So I just had my post-workout at the gym, 2 square bars, 40 grams of whey. Come home again, about 40-minute drive. Get my cream of rice on now. And then that'll be it for the day. Just walk back to Ashford Gym. Just see the guys before Christmas, just wish them a Merry Christmas. Go get my hair cut, and that'll be it for the day. So yeah, as I said, any questions or queries on the YouTube, as always, give me a shout. But I'm just gonna walk back to the Ashford Gym now, have that something to eat, walk back there, get done and wrapped up for Christmas. So I hope you had a great Christmas. Obviously this will be out after Christmas, but hope you had a great Christmas. I hope you have a good new year. As always with the YouTube, if you want to see anything, let me know. Jump in the comments below if you want to see anything on the next video. Like, subscribe, share, all that good shit. And yeah, as I said, I hope you have a great Christmas. Take care. See you later.